and biological weapons. That's almost a direct quote, Amy. At that point, Powell turned to me and said, put it back in. And from that point on, though I did take some of the stuff out as late as 2 a.m. in the morning in the Waldorf Astoria prior to the morning of the presentation, and had Phil Mudd, George Tenet's counterterrorism czar, standing behind me in the Waldorf, trying to prevent me from taking things out until I finally told him I would physically remove him from the room if he didn't leave of his own will. People were trying to get that portion back into the presentation. But the damage was done. The Secretary, as you know, presented the information as if there were substantial contacts.
Colonel, in your judgment, how big of a motive was the Iraq War in the torture program, in the torture of prisoners to get information that could tie al-Qaeda to Saddam Hussein?
One of the things that I have to say rather stunned me was when Powell in April, right after the Abu Ghraib incident was made public, or incidents were made public, asked me to look into it and to get a TikTok for him, to get a chronology, essentially to tell him how we got to that point. And I began my investigation. I learned that there was as early as April, May 2002, efforts to use enhanced interrogation techniques, also to build a legal regime under which they could be conducted. And that those efforts were as much aimed at al-Qaeda and contacts between Baghdad and al-Qaeda and corroboration thereof as they were trying to ferret out whether or not there was another attack coming like 9/11. That was stunning to me to find out that that was part, I'd say probably 50% of the impetus that I discovered in both the classified and unclassified material I looked into.
June, we spoke to Richard Clark, the nation's former top counterterrorism official. Clark served as national coordinator for security and counterterrorism during the Bush's first year in office. He resigned in 2003 following the Iraq invasion. Clark said that after 9/11, right after, in the days after, President Bush had wanted him to place the blame on Iraq.
I resigned, quit the government altogether. Testified before congressional committees and before the 9/11 Commission, wrote a book revealing what the Bush administration had and had not done to stop 9/11, and what they did after the fact, how the president wanted me after the fact to blame Iraq for the 9/11 attack.
Richard Clark also says he believes President
WGSJBC Radio, Smooth 90.5 FM. Who do we have live on the phone today?
Good morning. Well, good afternoon. This is Shelly Garrett. How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only, the originator of plays and playwriter, Mr. Shelly Garrett. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm absolutely wonderful, and you sound like you're the same. Hopefully you are.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Happy holidays, and thank you for calling Smooth 90.5 FM. I am so glad. I've been waiting for this call. This is, wow. It's like I'm talking to Stevie Wonder or Michael Jackson right here. This is a legend. Please, Mr. Shelly Garrett, please tell us what has been going on with you. You have put out some amazing work. I understand you've been working with Mr. Victor Gully. Tell us what's been going on with in the Garrett world.
Well, absolutely. With the Victor Gully situation, you know, the Taste of Theater he does every year in October, and it's an amazing event. And I think all playwrights, production people, actors, actresses, anyone involved in theater should always attend this. And not only just one time, but attend it every year, every single year, because you can never learn enough in 1 year. It's well worth it. It's first class. And I'm just very, very proud that he allows me to be a part of it.
Wow, that is amazing. We tell us what it is. I've had so many playwrights that have called for the last couple of days, and especially today from Georgia and Augusta, and they've talked about the taste of theater. What is the taste of theater? It's
exactly what it says. It is a taste of theater, but it's a big taste. It's We have the actors who can do a scene with a professional actor. For the playwrights, I will be doing, as I do every year, a seminar and workshop with them, telling them how to get their play on tour, come out of the 200-seaters and get into the major venues, what to look for, what the pitfalls are, just how to become successful as a national playwright, as a national touring playwright, how to do it and how to do it correctly and how not to be taken advantage of.
Let me ask you a question. You are a legend in the playwright. You've been around for years, over, 30 years doing this type of work?
April will be 32 years.
32 years, wow. And you are actually you are like the Little Richard of play. You're the God. Can I say that?
I love it. I love it.
I mean, laid the stepping stone for the Tyler Perrys. You have laid the stepping stone for the David Talibers. You have laid the stepping stones for all the other up and coming playwrights that's coming out. What is it that makes Shelly Garrett? Well,
when I do I don't even like to call them a play. I like to call them a stage production because that's what I try to make mine. I want it to be an event, not just a little play that you go to. You know what I mean, for the evening. I want you to be fully entertained. I don't throw my shows together just for the money. And I know many playwrights are doing that, and I think it is the first mistake. It is the very first mistake that they will experience trying to get their production out on tour. Look, I will write a play, and I will rewrite it probably 30 times before I let an audience see it. Now, when I think I have it right, when I think I have the right cast, I will put it in front of an audience in a seed market, in a smaller market, and I'm testing not only the show, but I am testing the cast. Now, look, it's all about the show all the time. Some cast members and some actors think it's about them. No, and I will tell them eye to eye, toe to toe, and nose to nose. It's not about you. It's about the show. It's always about the show. The audience is not coming to see you. They're coming to see the show. They're not coming to see Shelly Garrett. They're not coming to see anyone unless it's your family member. But your family member is still even coming to see you in what? In the show. So the show has to be absolutely perfect. I strive for perfection. I strive for the moon. I might not reach the moon, but I bet I'll grab a star or two on the way trying to get to the moon. So that moon is perfection. We must always strive for perfection. And you cannot throw these shows together and rehearse it in a week or two, and put it in front of an audience. These audiences are very sophisticated. They have seen plays before. They know what's good. They know what's not good. And it's unfair to a playwright to cheat them out of their hard-earned dollars just throwing something together.
Wow. Let me ask you. Let me ask you this question. Well, I'm also a sound engineer, and when it really gets under my skin. I hate to say it. I can't go into a church and actually sit there and enjoy the sermon or listen to the pastor if the sound is not correct. Are you the same way? You're a legend. You're up there where Quincy Jones is. Can you go into a play that's played in some school gymnasium or auditorium or some church? Can you actually? How long can you sit there and endure a play without getting up and leaving? They have invited Mr. Shelly Garrett to their event, and you get there and you see this event, this production, and how long does it take Mr. Shelly Garrett to get up and walk out?
Well, I'll tell you, I have the same feeling that you do. And it won't take long at all, because I've always said I believe in this, that bad sound can ruin a good show. I mean, bad sound will ruin it. You know, you never want people to go out after seeing your show and say, well, the play was good, but the sound was horrible. Well, the moment they hear that, that's something negative, and it's about your show. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's always about the show. So you can't, look, we use Countryman microphones, the one that hang on your ear and comes around to your mouth. That's called the Countryman.
Well, that's what we use
Whichever way
here.
you turn, and you as a sound engineer, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Whichever way you turn, the actor is not losing sound, or the singer is not losing sound, right? We used to use the lavaliers that hang on your lapels or hang on some portion of your clothing, and you turn left, you lose volume. You turn right, you lose volume. That will run a sound engineer nuts, because he has to keep moving that pop up and down, depending on what the performer is doing and which way they're turning. So yes, the Countrymen cost more. They cost more to rent. They cost more to buy. But like I said, you're striving for perfection, and that perfection is also in the sound. It's the sound, the lighting, the performance, the singing, everything. You're always trying to reach the moon.
Wow. Playwrights, listen up. Give us a call right now at 708-343-3906. That's 708-343.
Call now.
That's right. You want to talk to a legend, a man that has been out here in this world of production. Not plays, not stage plays, but production, because this man puts on a production that's something that makes you want to sit there and don't want to get up out your seat to go if you got to use the restroom. Because I've been to a few of your productions a long time ago, and I'm like, wow. And now you like I said, you have the Tyler Perrys, you have the David Tollivers. What do you tell? I just got off the phone with a playwright. She says, well, I'm a playwright and I'm a director. Do you encourage them to stick with one particular topic, or should they bounce around from drug, sex, abuse, molestation, and then church? Or should they just stick with just one particular topic? Should it be bouncing around in the show, in the cast, or what's your theory about that?
I caught some of that. I think you're asking me about the topics of the show. Is that what you're asking me? I couldn't.
Yes. I'm sorry. Should the topics be in a just one point, or should it be bouncing all over the show from sexual abuse or molestation, church abuse, and things of that nature? Or should it just be a show pertaining to just dealing with family matters?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I hear what you're asking me. Listen, I think that depends on who your audience is. I think a playwright needs to always know his demographics of his audience, who's sitting out there, and what type of play are you doing? Now, are you doing a comedy? Are you doing a musical? Are you doing a comedy drama? A gospel? Inspirational? Well, a gospel and inspirational is basically the same thing. It just depends. I think playwrights make a mistake if they're doing a gospel / inspirational, and when the audience sits down, you're trying to teach them about God, teach them about Jesus, teach them about, I just think that is a huge mistake. I think if people want to know about God, they want to know about Jesus, they want to know about the gospel, then they go to church. You understand? I think when people come to a play, they're coming to be entertained. They want to be entertained. It just all depends on what's going on. I think all plays should have some type of comedy, and I don't care if it's about domestic violence. I don't think people should get into it deeply. too deeply, because who wants to pay to go see something sad? I just think that's a mistake. You want to pay